So let me just ask, quick show of hands, how many people are in IT here? Yeah, just mostly the ones I brought with me. So I have to confess, I'm in IT. And so when Trevor and Craig asked me to speak at this meeting, I was like, don't you want somebody from the business rather than IT? And they said no, because in our implementation, IT actually led the product selection and implementation, partnering with the business, but it really came out of IT as an IT initiative to start. So I said yes, because it seemed like it was a really, really long time in the future, and it didn't seem like scary at the time to come here and talk to you. And that's important for me to tell you only because if you know Craig and Trevor, you know how hard it is to say no to them. So here I am. But I'm also here because I really believe in the capability of our staff to leverage the technology to transform the way we deliver service. And there aren't a ton of platforms that I really believe in that way. So I'm really glad to be here today to tell you about our journey of implementing eGain, how we started with just a mail client and then ended up as embracing the entire platform. So we're really eGain everything at APUS. Before I go on, I want to introduce two folks who are with me, the two IT people in the room, and Danielle Fergus and Drew Hardy. Part of the reason I want to introduce them to you is because they were both involved in our implementation. Danielle from the business side, and then we stole her into IT. For those of you who may have communication issues with your IT organization, I can tell you one of the best things that we've done is steal people from the business, because when they come over and they start talking to us, we go, oh, that's what they're saying. And then she can go back and talk to the business, and the business says, oh, yeah, that's what they're saying. So that's been really huge for us. Drew is our director of operations and has been with APUS longer than I have. So he knows the company inside out, and he knows the platform inside out. And the two of them are going to be here through the training day tomorrow. I'm actually going to walk off the podium, assuming I live through this, and go get on a plane. So I would encourage you to talk to them after the presentation if you have questions. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about APUS. How many of you have heard of us? And if you haven't, don't feel bad, because a lot of people haven't. Okay, so we actually operate American Military University and American Public University. We serve currently about between 100 and 120,000 students worldwide. We have students in all 50 states and 130 countries. We are completely online, so we have no brick and mortar campuses at all for students to come into and visit us. So the technology that we leverage is really important in how we serve our students. We are operating more like an e-business, but our top priority is really student success, and we are wholly focused on academic service delivery. So we offer 80 different degree programs, associates, bachelor's, and master's programs, a handful of certificate programs, but the certificate programs are really a compilation of courses that are part of our degree programs. And Craig, you were right, there were too many words on that slide. I just want to tell you a couple of things about this timeline. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but in 1991, APUS was founded as American Military University, and we were founded to really support service personnel who didn't really have an opportunity to finish their higher education because they were deployed and moved around so much. So they would start, they'd be deployed to a base, and they'd start at a community college or a local university, and then they'd have to stop because they get moved around. So our founder decided that we wanted to answer that population who serves our country and provide an educational opportunity for that group of constituents. We went public in 2007. That's important because although we are a traditional university from a degree program, we are publicly traded, and that gives us some additional concerns around audit concerns and around how we manage our technology. It also changes the way we acquire capital to invest in new platforms. Along the way, we opened American Public University and expanded our mission to serve others in the public service industry. So fire safety professionals, police, educators. So although we offer the same degrees in American Military University and American Public University, our mission is really to serve those who serve and to provide an affordable, quality education that's accessible to everybody. We draw our faculty from basically the most, they're industry experts, right? So they're not only PhDs, but a lot of them have masters, and they are industry experts in the fields that they work. And so we're trying to provide both a practical and an academic education. Okay. Just want to tell you a little bit about our students. The profile of our student is the working adult. Somebody who's probably mid-career, maybe 35 or older, looking for a change or looking to advance their career. So this is a little bit different than a traditional university that's serving the 18 to 22-year-old who's just getting out of college. I think our folks are pretty busy. They have families, they have careers, they have obligations, and they want to go to class when they have time to go to class. And they're pretty demanding. They're supportive of the experience that we're providing, but they're also pretty demanding as far as making sure that they can get what they need because their time is so limited. Just a couple of things about us as a university. We did receive one of the first Sloan C Awards for excellence in online academic education, and we were in 2013 recognized by U.S. News and World Reports as one in the top 10% for online education. So we're pretty proud of that. I will say that we're a company that's very tied to our student satisfaction and student assessment. So from our perspective, success is when our students are able to go out and find jobs and advance their careers and meet their goals. And when they tell us we've done a good job is when we know we've done a good job. Okay, so a little bit about the technology. So I'm starting to relax because now we're talking about technology. So we actually have developed our systems so that students can go through the admissions and orientation and registration process completely unattended. They don't ever have to talk to anybody if they don't want to. They can make their payments, they can get into the classroom, and they can start their classes completely without intervention from anybody from APUS. Having said that, we have a lot of students who do want to talk to us. We do monthly starts. So part of our value proposition to students is that they can drive the speed of their own education. So they can start a course any month that they want. We start on the first Monday of the month. Traditional institutions, have the semester model. Some of the other online educations online universities have maybe every other month or a quarter model. But we do monthly starts, and our courses are all 8 weeks long or 16 weeks long. So our student information system, which we call PAD, that's an acronym for Partnership at a Distance, is a homegrown system that we developed. In our IT organization, we have a custom development team of 30, and they work on our systems. We have our online classroom, which is Sakai, and I don't know has anybody here ever taken an online course? Okay, so you may have used Sakai or Blackboard or some online classroom. We use Sakai. We're working very hard all the time to deliver new and innovative solutions to our students because obviously we want them to be engaged and we want them to have a good experience and we want them to get practical education that they can take with them. Having said that, we're a company that lives very close to its mission, and we haven't raised our undergraduate tuition in 11 years. It's really important to us that we be able to provide an educational opportunity for everybody and that it's a quality education, but that it's affordable. So when we look at our technology platforms, we're using them and we're leveraging them so that we can scale to meet the needs of our students without doubling, tripling, quadrupling the size of our staff. And we're also looking at every technology investment we make as how does this deliver value to the students and does it do it in a way that we don't have to pass along costs? Okay. In 2009, we had sort of reached critical mass with our email management system. At that point, we had between 40 and 50,000 students. I actually came to APUS in 2008, and one of the first initiatives we had was to build the capacity and scaling plan to 100,000 students. And we all said, 100,000 students, we're never going to get there. And of course, in just a couple years, we did double in size. So we had pretty much outgrown our email management system to the point that it was really falling over every day. And we knew we needed to do something different. We needed something that could support students on a 24/7 basis. So we wanted to be able to make sure that we could prioritize emails as they came in and deal with them. Our core business hours are really until about between 5 and 7 o'clock Eastern. So we have real time zone issues, right? We've got students who are deployed in theater around the world. They need to reach us, and they're overseas, they're on the West Coast, they're all over the place, and our staff isn't typically there late into the night. Our technical staff is, but our frontline customer support staff is not. So we wanted a system that could receive all of these cases and help us manage them and take care of students when we were available for them. Okay, so we went through a search to identify the right platform, and there were a number of things that we were looking for, probably very similar to the things that you all were looking for when you made your decision to go with eGain. Single sign-on was critically important. We needed it to be easy for our agents. We wanted to be able to route cases from department to department and user to user. So we really function like a normal university, even though we're online. So we've got multiple departments. We've got registrar, we've got academics, we've got student advising, we've got transfer credit evaluation, we've got finance. All of these frontline organizations who were taking cases from students, and we needed to be able to pass those cases from one department to another without the student knowing that they were being routed. We're currently set up, we have about 250 agents now, and we'll talk about that, but when we started with eGain, we had about 100 that we put into the system, but we have 100 queues. I don't know how that compares to the way the rest of you all are laid out, but we literally are transferring cases. We're using the system to identify and route cases based on subject line and based on address and based on keywords, but we're also transferring cases from department to department all the time. We wanted to be able to see the full history of the interactions. So if a student called in and talked to somebody in enrollment management and they said, they were waiting on something for their financial aid, we wanted the enrollment management person to be able to look at the case in financial aid and see who they had talked to and figure out how to deal with it from there. We really wanted to be able to do future system integration and future tool integration. I'll tell you a little bit more about this later, but we have integrated eGain into a number of different systems that are core for us for delivering service. We were looking for something that was web-based. We didn't want a client that we had to put on end users' machines. Our end users are all over the place, and we wanted to make sure that we had something that was easy to manage. We wanted something that would scale with us, because again, we were looking for that plan to get to 100,000 students and beyond. We wanted something that was easy. Our users were used to using something that looked very much like email. We wanted something that was going to be easy for them so that they would be able to continue their work without feeling like the system was in their way. We wanted something that we could do on-premise versus software as a service. That's not an inclination that is because we're opposed to the cloud. We're not. But we have, because of our business model, we always look to where we can take ownership of a system, especially where we're integrating it into other core systems, put it in our data center, capitalize it rather than have it as an expense, and then manage the resources that way so that we don't have to pass them along to students in a tuition increase. And we were looking for something that we could support through Citrix, because a lot of our agents are all over the place and we don't manage the connectivity that they come in on. So we wanted something that we could deploy on a very small footprint. What was probably most important to us when we looked at all of the features and we started to add them up, because we did do an industry search, was we were also looking for a company that would be a partner to us. So we weren't looking for a vendor. We were looking for somebody who would be as invested in our success and in the success of our business as we were. And so through the search and through talking to a lot of people and checking references and really spending time with some of these folks who answered our RFP, we selected eGain. So we implemented in 2010, just across a couple of departments. The departments that were in significant pain over the other email management system falling over, that's where we put it. We started to deploy the platform pretty quickly across other departments, probably too quickly, just in the sense that it was easy to us in IT, so we thought it was going to be easy for the users, and so we started to push it out. And then we started to look at additional eGain products, so we wanted to roll out chat. One of the big issues that we had in rolling out chat, although we were very happy with the integrated product set, was we had our admissions management group and a couple of other groups who were using a different chat product that they were very, very happy with. I don't know whether any of you have been told that you have to give up a product that you're happy with in order to go to something else. Has anyone had that experience? Yeah, it can be really painful. And so that was sort of one of the battles that we had to fight. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our deployment. As I said, we're deployed in our own data center. We are a mid-sized company. We have about 750 servers, a couple of data centers. Even though we don't have any brick and mortar campuses, we have a couple of administrative campuses for our staff to work from. We're based in Charlestown, West Virginia. We wanted to deploy on-premise, as I said, because we were integrating with multiple systems. So we've integrated with CRM. We're using Microsoft Dynamics. We are a Microsoft shop primarily. We're integrated with Microsoft Dynamics. We've integrated with our student information system so that when a new case comes in, if we're identifying it by email address, we're also tying it to the student ID and we can see all of the transactions. We've integrated with our document management system, so we take in a lot of documents by email, and we have a process where if a student emails in documents, we can assign a case number to it, and the agent can work the case, but then the documents are automatically swept into our document management system and become part of the student record from there. So we've got a number of different things going on, and it was important for us to have this at the center. What we decided, what we realized as we got into it was that we weren't really picking a product, we were really picking a platform. And as a platform, it became really key to our ability to deliver service. Okay, so for those of you who are not in IT, this probably is not an important slide. For those of you who are in IT, you work with me, so you know this slide. So I'm not going to spend any time on it, except to tell you that we have worked very, very closely with the eGain team, sales, professional services, engineering, to make sure that we could get a deployment that was set up in our data center that ran effectively. And I think eGain is about 70% cloud now and 30% on-premise. So a lot of what we're doing with them takes heavy engineering, and we're just really happy to have their support. Okay, so the road to adoption was not always easy. It just wasn't. We had users who felt like, even though they knew they needed to make a change, that maybe once we got into it, that it was too hard, that they wanted something that was like email, and email was simpler. It was very important to us as a university to have something where we were assigning case numbers to, both for auditability and traceability, but also visibility, right? So when you handle these kinds of cases in email and they end up in somebody's sent mailbox, and then that person leaves the company, and then you've completely lost the history of that student, we needed something that was case management. But it was hard. There were some cultural shifts that we had to make. People were used to doing things a certain way. Like a lot of organizations, we had some silos that were hard to break. We had some performance issues with eGain 9. I don't think I'm telling any secrets by saying we had some performance issues with eGain 9. And some of them were around how we managed our own platform, right, which came back to the Citrix issue. We had terrible issues managing the Java client and making sure that everybody had the right Java client. We were using the system in a way that I think we were putting a lot of overhead on the system up front for the complex routing, and we learned a lot. And then, of course, migrating from the other chat platform to eGain Chat, I will tell you as an IT person, there were times when I thought the business was going to come to our door with pitchforks and torches, which maybe you felt that way with your IT organization. But we really kept we really kept trying to fix it, and we really kept saying, you know, we think that if we partner together, that we can get this going in a way that we can get through this difficult transition and everything will be okay. There were times, though, when we thought the only road was out. So, so what did we do? We actually started to look for business champions. We started to talk to some of the business users individually about what they really needed and map that back to the capabilities of the platform. And we started to really listen to what was important to them and how we could make the system work better for them. We started to work more closely with eGain. As a matter of fact, their folks were on site with us, side by side with us for a long time. We did some customizations to the system. But the organization as a whole, the university as a whole, really made a cultural shift and said, we need to be holistic and organized about the way we deliver service to students. And so for the first time in the history of the organization, they formed an Enterprise Service Excellence Council, which IT sort of sits on as a consumer of the technology, but we also sit on as a provider. But the service levels are being driven and the service goals are being driven by the business. And that was really huge for us. To get everybody around the table, and we're not a large company, but everybody's really busy and everybody has their own ideas about how things should be done. But to get everybody around the table and say, we all have the same goal, which is to serve the student, and let's figure out the best way to do that. And that means shared service level agreements. It means visibility. It means being honest and open about what we're doing well and what we're not doing well. It means identifying people who not only are business champions, but who can make sure that the business users know how to use the platform. And it means IT listening and understanding how the technology is really being consumed so that we can do a better job of providing it. And eventually, we got through it, and now eGain is a cornerstone of our platform. We use it to serve multiple student-facing functions: admissions, student support, technical support, advising, transfer credit, registrar, finance, appeals. Some of these organizations use email only. We are very, very email heavy in our channel and very heavy in phones in our channel. A couple of our departments use chat, so we use chat in financial assistance, we use chat in enrollment management, and we use chat in admissions. And in advising. I think part of the reason we're heavier in email than we are in chat is because of the hours that we work and when our students are actually online. We actually see the busiest time in our systems across the board are Saturdays and Sundays. All of our assignments are due at midnight on Sunday, and all of our students are in our systems at midnight on Sunday, turning in their homework. So. One of the things that we learned as we started to roll out and make this a platform, a cornerstone of the platform, was that if we were going to really develop enterprise service level agreements, we had to start using knowledge, and we had to start sharing knowledge. And so we started to roll out knowledge from an internal perspective, department by department, and then start to talk about how we could share that knowledge so that we were really getting to a single source of truth for the students. Okay, this is just what we look like by the numbers. I don't know how this compares to what you all are doing. We have 250 agents. We take in about 50,000 new email cases a month. Our email cases typically take 1 to 2 days, sometimes a little bit longer to resolve. We take about 5,000 chats per month. The reason that our email cases take so long to resolve is because a lot of them aren't really problems. They're not really problems that we're trying to solve, and they're not really transactional. They're more around students who are trying to get through complex multi-step processes in order to continue with their education. So we're comfortable with the amount of time that the cases take, but with the 250 agents, they can be handling a pretty heavy caseload at any given time. So we have seen some really important results. We've seen better response from our agents. We've seen better response from our students. There are 2 queues that are in eGain that fall into IT. They're the technical support queues. And I can tell you that by analyzing the data that's coming into eGain and being able to change some of our operational procedures, we've been able to lower our call volume by about 40%. But more importantly, we've been able to serve more students without adding additional headcount, and we've been able to extend our hours of service. And that's because we're looking at what's coming in, changing our processes, but also really leveraging that internal knowledge base so that people are able to respond more quickly. So that's been huge for us. We definitely have better enterprise transparency. We're sharing data and we're auditing and we're able to see what's going on with the students. We have better and more efficient training. So in addition to making a commitment to customer service training, we're able to ramp people up more quickly because we have a knowledge base that they can use. And we are getting consistent answers, and consistent answers lead to better student satisfaction. So what we're looking at doing in the future is expanding our use of knowledge, both for internal and external. We're very excited about being able to use the external knowledge client, not only to allow our students to contribute to knowledge creation, because we think that's an important part of community building, but also so that we can start to personalize the environment for them, because we think that as we get to know them, we'll be able to create a more personal experience, and we think that that's going to be important for them. We are using the KCS framework. We're at the very beginning, and we've been working closely with the eGain staff. We're in the beginning of our business optimization services and learning a lot about that, but mostly learning that the investment in knowledge up front is going to help us down the road. So we're very, I think we're looking at the work as a lot, and we know we have a long road to take, but we're excited about getting there and about the incremental steps. And one of the things that we've done is we've allowed our marketing team, because they own our brand and they own the student experience from a brand perspective, to really be the business champions for knowledge. And that's helped a lot to bring everybody together. And we think that using the knowledge base will also allow us to be more proactive. So we are just getting ready to launch version 11. We actually are in UAT. We started today, and our agents are very much looking forward to it. We're very excited about video chat. We don't think we're going to use it widely. We think we'll probably use it in advising. But we think it's going to be important for students to be face-to-face with their advisors, and that'll be the first time that's happened for us. We think it's going to give us a whole new dimension in the way we deliver service. We've been wanting co-browse for a really long time, so we're excited about that. As I said, we have some really complicated processes that we have to help students through, and helping them get through them. We think co-browsing is going to be really core. We're very excited for the analytics. We think the more we know, the better we can provide service. Web self-service is really important to us. Some of our queue managers estimate that 40 to 50% of the questions that come in through email and through chat could actually be answered through self-service if students were able to find the information. So we're excited from an agent perspective about the consoles being cleaner and easier to use. We're working through the workflow optimization, and we're really looking for improved performance now that we know how to use the product. And a lot of our adoption issues were around, hey, we're not using it right. Now we're looking to really make it sing, and so we're looking forward to getting started with that. So again, I wanted to pop our email addresses up in case you want to reach us. Feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to answer any questions. Drew and Danielle will be here through Thursday, right? You guys are flying back Thursday? And so they'll be around for breaks and meals, and you should feel free to talk to them, or if you want to reach me. Unfortunately, I have to leave after this, but that's really all I have. We're very excited for the opportunity to be here with you guys today and to hear what you have to say. We've learned a lot, and I look forward to working with you in the future. So thank you.